warm welcome to all of you who have taken the trouble to join us on what is a very hot day in Delhi. I'm Shailaja Bajpai, and this is Talk to the Print. Now, as some of you may know, I've been the reader's editor at The Print for what is it now, approximately 2 years. And during that time, I received a lot of mail from a lot of you in terms of comments, criticism, complaints, and even a few compliments. Yes, we've got even some of those. So to all of you, first of all, let me say a very big thank you. Thank you for keeping us on our toes, for trying to help us keep us honest. So do keep them coming. But for some time now, we have felt the need to deepen our relationship with you and expand it. In this occasion, to speak to you directly and give you a chance to ask us questions, which we will try to answer, and also for you to try and get to know us better. We will hold, so here I am for the first time on Talk to the Print live. All of you who have questions, please ask them now. And as I said, we will try our best to satisfy you with our answers. We will be doing this show every month, on the last Thursday, in fact, of every month. So remember, mark that date and try and join us for what I hope will be an informative and freewheeling discussion over chai. I am here at the Delhi office of The Print. This is where it all happens. This is where we have been for the last 5 years of our existence. And let me tell you, we've actually grown so large now that we've outgrown this place. It no longer fits us. Which is why I am sitting in the studio, which is about the only place where I can have a private conversation with you. But before I begin that conversation and before I get to any questions, let me introduce you to my colleague, Rama Lakshmi. She's editor, opinion, and ground reports. Good afternoon, Rama, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you.
Just tell for our readers and all the people who are joining us, just tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do here.
Hello, and thank you, Shailaja. I have been with The Print for 6 years now, even before the website was launched. So I'm one of the original members at The Print. And it's a very exciting and challenging place. And the last 6 years have been really, really instructive.
Yeah.
And just how formidable a website it is today is all because of all our work here.
Yeah.
And I look after opinion, ground reports, books,
Yeah.
pass forward, a whole bunch of properties at The Print. And I have a team of about 19 people who travel around the country and sometimes outside the country as well.
Right.
And copy editors,
Yeah.
some really very robust fact-checking and copy editing goes into all this. So, yeah, it's a very exciting
And if I may add, it's a very young office. We are not, we may look a little old to you, but most of our colleagues are very young, right, Rama?
Absolutely.
I mean, your team particularly has very young people.
My team is full of 20 plus people.
And people perhaps on their first jobs.
Some of them, yes.
Which makes it actually even more remarkable that they are doing the kind of stories that I hope you've been reading and enjoying. Okay, Rama, shall we get to it with our first question? Now, let me have a look. Okay. Here it is. First question from a reader. Thank you. The reader says, I don't see the features tag on any stories these days. Has The Print stopped that segment? I used to enjoy reading them. No, we haven't stopped it. Dear reader, please be assured they're still there. Rama, but something has changed, right?
Yes. So what used to be called features is now called ground reports.
Aha.
We believed that ground reports is the real definition of what the work we do.
Right.
It describes the work we do much better than features. Because all our reporters, about 15, 16 of them, they're always on the ground. They go into every corner of the country and wherever the news develops, and that's where we're sending them. They have their bags packed all the time. They go spend a week in a place where the story is developing. Sometimes they go and do 10 days of deep dive reporting and come back with long form, some really good, intelligent and investigative work. So ground reports was the perfect time for perfect label for the work they do.
And actually, I mean, many of you I know this, but actually the print has been known for its ground reporting. In fact, we won several awards for our ground reporting during COVID. And so in a sense, Rama's team has just expanded that into much longer. What are they, up to 2,500 perhaps words sometimes?
No, sometimes 4,000 words.
Oh, ouch,
really.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, each of them.
I
And
really
every
didn't
day,
know that.
and every day we're running these. And Shailaja, as you know, the print is the only publication, media publication, that is investing so much energy, talent, time, resources on ground reporting.
Yeah.
This many people for ground reporting, no other publication has doing this on a daily basis.
Online or even print, I believe.
Even print.
Yeah. So there you are. One thing to remember
And
about the print.
this is in addition to all our state reporters.
Yeah. And sometimes they also go, right?
Yes, they
Yeah,
also
okay.
go.
All right. Oh, nice. We have another question for you coming from a young gentleman called Siddhant. Hello, Siddhant, if you're out there. Thank you for responding to the question. Siddhant now says, I wanted to know the process that goes into publishing articles submitted by subscribers. Siddhant, I'll answer that question for you. Well, we always welcome pieces by any subscriber. Okay, I want to explain something. I get a lot of letters from readers who talk about want their articles published. We don't, as a policy, publish unsolicited stuff. Isn't that true, Rama? We don't really accept unsolicited.
No, that's not true. Sometimes a lot of unsolicited opinions do come to me.
Okay.
I take the decision on merit.
Okay.
Some are really good.
Right.
We don't pay for unsolicited.
Okay, so I stand corrected. But if you want your piece to appear in the print, one of the easiest ways to do it actually is to go to our website and find the place where it says Your Turn. So this is just a specific product for subscribers, and actually only for subscribers. So where we will publish whatever you write. So take your chances, Siddhant. I hope to see you soon in print. Next one. Oh dear. Okay, Rama, this one is coming your way. The reader says, although I like the 50-word edit, I hope you've all been seeing our short edits because it is short. I feel you ought to have longer edits so that deal with complex issues. For instance, judicial appointments or the use of investigative agencies against the opposition. I don't think you can say much of that in 50 words. Okay, so why don't we do long edits?
Because the times have changed.
Right.
People are not reading long edits, and long edits those nuances can come out in 50 words too. And we're all writers, we're all journalists. It's challenging. It's easier to write long, and it's more difficult to write short. So it's actually a challenge. Brevity and economy of words is so important to journalism. And people have short attention spans. They want quick, hot takes. So who has the time, as they're toggling several things, juggling their careers, their work, their commute, everything, who has the time to read 2,000 words or 200 words of edit? On the other hand, ground reports, yes, it's read because you're bringing fresh voices and things like that. But quick hot takes should be short, should be snappy, and should be crisp. And that's the challenge. And it is a challenge for us, and we put in a lot of effort into deciding what we want to weigh in on, what is our opinion, how do we write it. So it's something we take a lot of pride in.
We have a fairly good mix, I've seen, because we write on the sports. I've seen, it's not as though we only do it on politics or the economy.
No, everything, the whole range.
All right. I hope that satisfies you. I'm sorry we're not going to do longer edits. I wish I could say we are, but we aren't at the moment. So bear with us. Okay, next up is Aditi. Good evening, Aditi. She says, at any given time, how many reporters do you have traveling for stories, and how do you select these stories? Now, this has always interested me, even though I'm a journalist. When they go for these long stories, they're not always news, right? Do you look for the news factor? What's that, the DNA of a story like this when you send them out? What are you looking for?
Okay, so the first question, how many at any given time?
At any given time.
4 or 5 any given time. Like right now, I'll tell you there are 4 or 5 on the ground right now on different stories, different states, sometimes more. And how do we pick stories? The reporters come to me and they pitch story ideas. Sometimes the stories are just out there because it's a breaking news, it's a developing stories, and we want to go into a developing story and find out the real voices on the ground and actually not just depend on what is circulating online or circulating in Delhi, among us.
Yeah.
So we want to go to where the story is, go spend time there, 2-3 days if it needs, and then bring the voices. Like when Atiq Ahmed was killed.
That's right.
Sagarika Kisu, she went to Prayagraj and she's just come back today after 10 days. She was there for more than 10 days and she's done so many stories and all angles. How do we select stories? When they pitch to me, when reporters pitch to me, one thing that I like to look for is what does it tell me about where we are today?
Yeah.
Where India is today? What does it tell me? What is the larger picture? What is the India story in this?
Yes.
Does it capture the change, social change, political change, economic change, cultural changes?
Right.
So is my reporter going to a place at a time where there is a transition is happening? It's a moment of change, a moment of quantum jump. So we can bring something new to the reader all the time.
Right,
so that's I look at these two things before I say yes.
I mean, one of my favorites, which I've written about just now, is the Jain monk story.
Yes.
Maybe you've all had occasion to look at it, about young girls in Gujarat who have chosen actually to leave their families and become young Jain monks. That is an absolutely fascinating and different story.
Monami Gogoi went and spent a whole
With
week
Praveen Jain.
walking, and Praveen Jain, a whole week walking with the Jain monks for hours and hours in the hot Gujarat summer. And while this has been going on for a long time, these are some really prosperous diamond merchants' families, and their little 8-year-old, 9-year-old girls expressed their desire to join the monkhood, and they sent to be Jain nuns and Jain monks. And Monami brought such delightful details about their lives and how they're now beginning to shift their gaze on how they look at life and look at this world they're in. And then she also went into their old rooms in their homes to see what they have left behind, the dolls, the games, the K-pop song that they used to listen to.
And if you look at Praveen Jain's photographs, I mean, they're works of art. I mean, I just think each one of them tells the story. So, I mean, if you haven't, please do.
It's a delightful story.
Right. Okay, then now let's see what we've got. Oh dear. Okay, this is a bit of a toughie for us. Something on women's rights, I think.
Not tough at all.
Okay, why don't you have more well-known and established expert women writers in the opinion section? It seems the print favors male writers like Yogendra Yadav or Veer Sanghvi. Rama, what's going on? Is this true?
That is entirely untrue. I have so many women writers, experts, domain experts. Let me begin. Shruti Kapila, right? Sheila Bhatt used to write.
Yes.
And then there's Amana Begum. There's Renuka Shane, the economist. There's Shweta Saini, who's an agri-economist. Naila Inayat from Pakistan.
Right.
There's Yusra Askari from Pakistan.
Yeah.
There's so many every day. Jyoti Malhotra writes on foreign policy, diplomacy.
Right.
Every day we have somebody or the other who's not a male.
Right.
So we have a lot. Yes, can there be more? Of course there can be more. There should be more women. But it's untrue that we only favor men.
Are we conscious of this? Are we this kind of gender equality in the kind of people we choose?
I am.
You are.
I'm a staunch
you make
feminist.
a conscious,
I'm a staunch feminist, and I think there should be more women. And as a woman editor, I should hold the door for more women.
Yeah. And we're also, I think, careful because, this is a question that I get asked very often on mail, is that, you have a lot of what we call the left liberals. But do we balance it? Are we also conscious of making that effort to balance things? To reflect other points of view from the center, from the right? Do you have to play that game?
It has to. Any opinion section has to.
Right.
And our opinion section is a vibrant place. We keep talking about it, a big tent of ideas and ideologies. It's a vibrant place. What it does, it reflects the arguments and the cacophony that's going on outside the newsroom, right? It reflects the true India that way. So you have all kinds of arguments, right, left, centrist, everything. Ideas must collide, and that's what it does in our section.
360 degrees, in fact, we might say. Okay, Anirudh has now written in. Thank you, Anirudh, for your question. What do you say now? I really enjoy photos on the print. Yes, you're right to enjoy it. It's really quite remarkable. How big is your photo team, and do they also report?
Yes, we have three people.
Three people?
Praveen Jain, Manisha Mandal, and Suraj Bisht.
Yeah.
Really accomplished, award-winning photographers, and Praveen Jain has had so many years in political photography and feature photography, and Manisha Mandal is a really talented photographer. Her coverage of some of the most difficult subjects have been just phenomenal.
Yeah.
She's just come back after 3 weeks with Urjita Bharadwaj. She went to 3 states.
Okay.
And she followed the women CRPF personnel.
Oh, fantastic.
In really difficult terrains. And so she's written a story, and there's a photo feature, and there's a video too.
Oh, wow.
So
it's something to look forward to.
Something to look forward in the next couple of days.
Oh, great. Okay.
And
weekend reading.
Just came back from Prayagraj, and wonderful pictures he
So weekend reading, guys. Reading, guys. Weekends. Okay, we have another question, I think. Who is this now? Nikhil. Young Nikhil. I hope you're young, and because I'm calling you that. In today's world of television and quick news, how does print consciously try to bring depth in the coverage? I think we've answered this question a little when we've dealt with the ground reports. But is there anything you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, apart from ground reports, there are lots of reporters here, senior reporters who spent many years in their beats, and they bring a lot of domain knowledge and informed analysis and understanding of the past, and a nuanced and layered analysis of things. So we're not just in the business of breaking news. In fact, the print always brings you how did we get here when a news break happens? How did we get here? Where are we headed from here? These are the two questions all our reporters try to answer.
Yeah. And I think irrespective of whether it's the 800 word or the long form. Okay. Here's something on something quite different. A reader has asked, I like to read your reviews of OTT series and films, but why not do profiles, Q&As with actors or directors? I would love, for instance, to read a piece on actor Siddhant Gupta or Aditi Rao Hedri. I think he's asking this because of the series Jubilee, if I'm not wrong, right? Maybe. I've also watched it, so I know that much. Yes, well, I mean, I know we recently, or am I wrong in saying maybe in the last 6 or 8 months, we've begun doing a lot of reviews and much more on cinema.
Reviews for a year and a half or so.
All right.
But in the last few months, for sure, we have been doing a lot of interviews, video interviews.
Right.
We did one with Abhay Deol when Trial by Fire came up.
Right.
So yeah, we do a lot of video interviews with actors and people, directors, actors, storytellers, story writers, script writers.
Yeah.
So we do that, but good point. We need to do more. Point noted.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Tell me, is that one of the reasons that the team for what was features and now is long ground reports has expanded is because actually we are covering much more, let's say, of what used to be called the soft feature.
Yeah, there is no such thing as soft.
Yeah.
Everything requires your attention, your serious attention. We bring our serious attention to everything and hard work. So I, as a journalist, am against this whole tag of soft and hard news.
Yeah.
We are covering more and more domains, more and more subjects, and that's why it's grown.
Yeah. So I've also noticed that change as your reader's editor, that we have moved a little our focus, especially on the weekend. The reading matter that you will see gives you a lot more variety, actually. I know that Rama will say that it's also in the week, but I notice it particularly on the weekend. Okay, here comes another question. A reader wants to know, why, while there is so much misinformation, even in the news domain, how do you fact check? What is it that you do to make sure that you're getting it right?
Every editor at The Print is a fact checker as well.
Right.
Everything that goes up, every line, every sentence is interrogated, not just in the opinion section, but even the reporters. Everything they write, every line is scrutinized,
right.
attributing to who who has said this, if you've claimed this, where is this data coming from? This is just part of editing. This is just part of regular journalistic gatekeeping. So we all are fact checkers. All the entire copy desk team is a fact. They're trained in fact checking, and they do really robust, rigorous fact checking. So yeah.
And I can add a little to that by saying, in the last 2 years, I've been expecting. I was really scared when I began as Reader's editor. I thought I'd be flooded with people, finding mistakes and me having to say regrets only all the time on behalf of the team. But I have to say that actually I'm not getting many of you are not writing in with, and don't you start, but there really haven't been that many people finding mistakes. And it's not to say you all haven't, you have helped us by finding some, but they've been so far few and far apart. That's a good thing for us. Okay, let me see now. I must say it's been wonderful that so many of you have already come out here today to join us at this time when maybe you should have been going home. We thank you for that. Okay. Now there's okay, now something more specific. Dilip Mandal. I get a lot of mail about Dilip Mandal. It's very odd. I can't quite understand it, but nevertheless, Dilip Mandal, in all his articles, is always very vocal about issues of lower caste and how injustices in various fields still persist. Even though I don't agree with most of his observations, he's entitled to his views. However, I expect the print to publish someone having a counter argument to such articles, like is there enough reservation now? How some castes have gained, I beg your pardon, disproportionately from it and still continue to enjoy benefits. Rama, I think we already do that, right? Or articles that are reflect a different point of view than Dilip Mandal's?
We do.
Can you name?
In fact, Dilip Mandal himself would welcome such articles because Dilip Mandal is an intellectual. Yeah. And sometimes he asks some provocative, uncomfortable, inconvenient questions, but that's the job of a journalist. To quote Pulitzer, the job of a journalist is to afflict the comfortable and to comfort the afflicted, right? Yes. And Dilip Mandal does that finely. And if anybody writes a rebuttal to Dilip Mandal, he's the first person, he's a true intellectual, he's the first person to say, let's publish it. I would like to reply to these responses. So if there are people who want to write about something that disagrees with Dilip Mandal's position, yeah, of course. Yeah. And if there is somebody who brings forth a well-researched, fact-backed, evidence-backed article saying reservation is not a good thing, I'd be happy to look at it. Dilip would be happy to look at it.
Right. To all of you out there, we would welcome any suggestions. We're happy to take them on board and to really seriously consider them. So if you want, you can suggest someone that you think you would like to see at the print, well, please write to us and we will certainly consider it. Yeah. Okay, I think our time is up, unfortunately, today. I hope this has had some meaning and been of some information package for you. Thank you, Rama.
Thank you.
For being here with me today. And as I told you, remember, we will be back next month, last Thursday of the month, and be there. Until then, bye-bye.